wiggle, wiggle.
Like.
Hey Blitzers, it's Stud Muffin 1986 here, and boy, has it been a while since I've actually made one of these videos. Just so heads down with the movie over the last, I don't even know how long it's been, 4, maybe 5 months of me working on that movie. Anyway, this, the Chinese trio is out, the dragon tanks, the 3 dragons, sorry, that's what they're called. Get them in the store. Honestly, great price for the bundle of all 3 of them. Just got a couple game replays here that I just quickly wanted to shoot out. Give you guys just a feel of what these tanks are. First up, I've got the Type 62. Honestly, this is a good tank. I really like this. This has all of the same attributes as an actual ninja in a way, that it's very flexible, very maneuverable, very light. You can really get around the field. It's got great penetration. Got that samurai sword, sharp action there. And honestly, good tank. You'll really be able to get around the field the way that you need to. Really be able to position yourself. This is honestly one of my favorite tanks at tier 7. I just love how agile it is. You can see I do get hit, as you can see, but I can really kind of whip around the field. And for someone that likes maneuverability and doesn't rely on armor so much, because just like a ninja, you can't really I guess, they're lightweight, the cloth, the sword, they're agile, they gotta be light, they gotta be flipping from rooftop to rooftop, and, you don't have a lot of armor, so you can't be relying on that a whole lot. But the thing about this tank, the gun depression is okay. I guess in a way you could say that, this ninja is very flexible and maneuverable in every way, except it's got these arm limitations to it of I don't even know what it is, 6 degrees or something. And so really cool in every aspect, but only 6 degrees of arm length with a lethal sword. So if you can picture that. So really kind of whipping around. You want to stay out of the crosshairs, primarily the enemy. Like I said, you don't have a lot of armor with this tank, but it'll do. This tank will really do. I think you'll be happy with it. And honestly, like I said, one of my favorite tanks. It's good get up and go speed. Its accuracy honestly is not too bad. I really don't feel that I have an issue with the accuracy. So yeah, this is a tank. I've had this tank for a long time, and I always seem to have just good games in it. Every player's play style is different, so hopefully this video will give you a little bit of a feel. You want to try utilizing positions where you're not having to rely on a lot of gun depression, so that can be a little tricky at times. But if you're staying on that flat ground, sometimes around those bends and hills, this is a pretty effective light tank. Very, very pretty awesome tank. And so, yeah, that hopefully gives you a quick feel. Next one up is the Type 59. This one's a little bit of an interesting tank. This is kind of like the fat cousin ninja that really wants to be a ninja, but it's not as maneuverable and flexible. It's a little slower, has a little bit more armor, so it's got a little more thickness around the stomach, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, you don't really have a lot of gun depression with this. The other thing about this tank is its DPM is a little bit on the lower end. It does have, the cannon's all right, the accuracy's all right, the penetration's okay. It's not bad. You can, like you just saw right here, you can bounce some rounds with this thing. This is the the fatter, thicker, slower version of a Type 62. So, but I mean, I think, this is a tank that I've liked. I don't really play a ton for some reason. I don't really know what it is about this tank. I think it's like, I don't know, I think it's okay. It's not bad. I mean, really, if you can get yourselves in positions where you're coming around bends, or you're keeping your hull protected in a way that you can just keep your turret poked out and be able to shoot enemies, kind of move back and forth, you can really be a pain in this thing. I think the rate of fire is probably the only thing that bugs me just a little bit with this, and the DPM aspect just being a little lower. But as you can see, I'm just trying to keep my turret just poked out for that, to be the only thing that he's got a shot at. The turret on this thing is pretty good. Tanks will have a little bit of a hard time penetrating this. I get a lot of bounces on the turret. I do get some bounces off the hull depending on who I'm coming across. More so with like tanks that have lower penetration, like medium or light tanks. Tank destroyers, being that they've got some really good cannons, not so much. I'll sometimes take a hit, but just through the hull or the main body of the tank. But the turret is honestly not bad. It's actually pretty strong. So yeah, I mean, my 2 cents on it, I think it's good. I think if you were to get it, it doesn't take a whole lot of time, I think, to figure it out. But yeah, you don't want to be putting yourselves in positions where you're really needing to use gun depression, because like I said, this thing doesn't have a ton of it. You can't really get the cannon down a whole lot, and you can really get yourself to be quite useless if you're putting yourselves in those positions if the only ways you can get shots off bad guys is if you're needing that gun depression. So it's an okay tank. The turret's really good, but yeah, I think it's balanced in the way that it's got a lower rate of fire, a lower DPM. But honestly, I mean, I think that's really all I have to say about this thing. Its penetration really isn't bad. I mean, as you can see here, switching to APCR, you do have to do that sometimes. I mean, the Type 62, you're able to see when I came across tier 8 heavies, I definitely had to switch to the heat round. So if you are playing this thing, it is very wise to just pack some of that APCR or heat, depending on what you're driving. And I mean, really, with these tanks, you're obviously trying to get into positions where you're getting shots from off the sides or the rear of certain tanks. This tank being a little slower and it's got a stronger turret, you could be putting yourselves in positions where you may be facing some of those enemies. But really, I mean, I have fun with these things. I was actually surprised the fact that you can get these 3 tanks in the garage for that good of a price. Especially like a tier 10 being thrown in there. That's a pretty good deal. I'm starting to notice Wargaming is coming out with these deals that are like pretty good. Like I guess if it just goes to show, if you wait long enough, you can really get a tank for a much, much cheaper price. Next one up, this honestly is not the best replay, I would say. This really goes to show how harmful it is for your team all to be sitting at camp or to be sitting at base. There's not really a whole lot to do if you're one of the few only moving forward. I don't like to blame things completely on my team, but you can definitely see it is very apparent. You can look at the map. Most of the team is just sitting at spawn, and I get hit from the side, and I'm just thinking like, what? How did that happen? I have a problem when I play. I sometimes just get in this like tunnel vision mood where I just assume things. Like, I think at this point I was assuming my team was much further up, on the map, and so like just get hit right on the side, and I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? So anyway, This is the 121B. This tank, I do like this tank. This tank is a good tank in my opinion. Once again, it's the same thing you do struggle with in terms of the Type 62, the Type 59, where you don't have a ton of gun depression, but the turrets are pretty good. They can be reliable. The 121B has good maneuverability. The cannon's got a good average damage. Honestly, and it does feel accurate. And so, I mean, this game, I got to a point where I was like, okay, you know what, team, fine. I'm just gonna sit back here with you, and then hopefully I can use you guys as meat shields. I think we kind of run into those instances we're really kind of failing on the right side here. They're kind of all coming over here on the left. Our team's not really able to do much. So yeah, I mean, this game you can already see is just looking fantastic. And so really, I mean, you do want to be putting yourselves in positions where you're not relying on your whole armor a whole lot. I mean, it's okay, but that's not really the bread and butter. You can rely a lot more on the front of your turret. If you can keep the body of your tank protected, if you can keep that protected, your hull protected, and primarily just have the enemy looking at the front of your turret, that's where it's going to be pretty good. And especially when they're taking aim at it, if you're moving back and forth, it could be a pretty hard turret to penetrate. So I honestly really like this tank. I don't know why I don't play with this tank a lot, but it's probably because it fits in that that IS category where there's like a million types of IS tanks. There's like a million types of like Type 54 style tanks, and they almost kind of like feel the same, I guess, after a while. And like, I don't know, I just like things that are super unique, but not saying anything bad about these tanks. Like, these tanks are still good. So yeah, I'm looking totally noob here. I was kind of sick of my team at this point. And yeah, I'm kind of just sitting in the back, really not being able to contribute a whole lot here. But I mean, yeah, basically the team's dead. I'm trying to do some side scraping here. I mean, as you can see the effectiveness of this tank's armor kind of through this video, I guess. I mean, just trying to put this video out here. I just played a quick game, and I thought about, like, now, like, I'll play a different one. But then I thought, I was like, I think it gets the point across. I mean, I don't really care to like play over and over again just to get a mastery. I not like that. I want to give you guys some like real game footage. Like, here, this is how it is. I'm not gonna only put a video in where the tank just looks totally OP and I'm bouncing every round. No, I mean, typically when I put these videos out, it's like, oh, this is what it is. This is my first game with it, and just making this video. So, man, I am talking a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be curious, let me know what you guys think. I really hope this video and review was helpful. Like I said, I think it's a great price for the 3 Dragon combo. Getting it for that money's worth. I mean, really not bad. You get a tier 10, that's good. You get a tier 8, that's, also like, it's not bad. It could be a good tank, and then you also get the Type 62, which in my opinion is a great tank. So anyway, this is Stud Muffin 1986. You guys stay cool, keep tanking. If you like to become a patron, please, would love it. $2 a month. It would also help me to make more movies, more giveaways. So once again, Stud Muffin 1986. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.